Mario Party 5 was the beginning of a new era for the franchise, and a contentious one at that. When a game releases sequels annually, it doesn't take long before the formula starts to feel stale. A common sentiment critics shared during this period is how repetitive the series had become, or as we'd say today, Mario Party fell off. And despite this, the Mario Party generator had no intentions of slowing down. We saw Mario Party 4 veer away from improving mechanics in favor of adding gimmicks, and the result was a game that, in my opinion, failed in all its endeavors. And I think Hudson Soft saw that too, because Mario Party 5 reinvented Mario Party. Forget the story and rule changes, the most important thing about Mario Party 5 is how it restructured items, and they went ham on this one. Instead of items, we have capsules. They're fundamentally identical, but capsules have many more features. For starters, you can throw them onto a space, which is an awesome idea. There's a lot of new items that take advantage of this, like you throw a Hammer Bro capsule on the board, and every time someone lands on it, they'll lose 10 coins. Klepto will transport the lander to another player, Podoboo can force someone to pass the star, Mr. Blizzard will murder in cold blood. You can set curse mushrooms in front of other traps to combo into each other. Capsules open up a lot of potential for strategizing, but because of other forces, their inclusion leaves a lot to be desired. They got rid of the shop. You might have been wondering why they put items in capsules. Well, it's because you get them from capsule machines. Every time you pass one, you'll get a random item. That means this is the poker of Mario parties. Oh, you wanted a mushroom to get ahead of your opponent? Best I can do is a monkey. It is so disappointing seeing such a great item system get constrained by luck. In the last two games, it was nice having the option to buy a chomp call or warp pipe for a rainy day. But in 5, there's no guarantee you'll get any of the items you want. I was thinking how cool it would be to use the Koopa Bank capsule to siphon people's coins and then whipping out a second one later in the game to collect the pot. But the only way I can entertain that thought is if fate dictates it. Why is it that if I want to steal someone's dog, I have to gamble on like a 15% chance that I get something that allows me to do that, when in the last 3 games, all I had to do was show up? And the other reason capsules are a letdown is because most of them should never be thrown onto the board. Like, yeah, placing a mushroom means you could get more than one use out of it. We're also talking about a 1% chance here, and guess what? Everyone else has access to it now, you dumbass. So many capsules are inherently powerful, so tossing them into the wild is almost always a bad move. Goomba will trade all your coins with another player, Kamek can shuffle everyone's items, Chain Chomp is a Boo Bell, Wiggler is a Magic Lamp. Why would I ever want to give my opponents the opportunity to use these instead of keeping them for myself? Outside of the 6 random capsules that appear on the board at the start of a game, you really won't see chains of spaces covered in traps unless you're making up rules in support of it, or there's a computer playing the game. You also have to pay to use an item on yourself, which is kinda weird. Like, it's already annoying I can't choose what I want, now I have to pay 5 coins to earn 10. All things considered, the rates aren't that bad, and one of my favorite quirks about it is how you can pay 5 coins to lose half your coins. And here I was thinking Mario Party 4 was a waste of money. I gotta be real, talking about Mario Party 5's items is making me think this game might actually be really frenetic with house rules. Fuck it. Throw your capsules out turn 1, burn the place down. All these mechanics that limit strategy may contrarily make it the most replayable. So for a quick moment, let's cover Mario Party 5's story, which is the series' most complex. It follows the continuity of Paper Mario, so to fully enjoy this game's nuances and themes of poverty and the rise of industry, you'll want to complete a 20-hour RPG. Or watch my review of it. Following that game's ending, the Star Spirits quit guarding the Star Rod in favor of watching people's dreams, and on a particular night, they were seeing a lot of fucked up good dreams where people's teeth fall out, and lonely 20-somethings are living their best life with a harem of anime waifus. So the stars collectively thought, wouldn't it be funny if we showed this to Mario? And that's how we ended up in this interstellar fantasy land. I was just dreaming about the future, and now there's a dinosaur in there stealing stars. Despite not being invited, Bowser breaks in so he can replace people's dreams with his own. I don't know what that accomplishes, but it requires splitting the DNA of Koopa Kid into 3 entities. What? Didn't you know? This is actually how Mario and Luigi were born. Somewhere out there is a blue plumber, and all 3 of them confused together into one Super Mario. The story mode is much more different than the previous games. Instead of playing the Gameboards until you win, your objective is to beat up the Koopa Kids until they have not 1 coin to their name, which means you're mostly playing the same duel minigames on repeat for 2 hours. In a way, this mode plays like Mario Party 3's duel mode, since you have to pass a Koopa Kid to battle them, and whoever initiates the duel has lower stakes for losing. But the experience is inferior overall, because that's about all the depth there is. I'm not worried about getting attacked, because as long as I win the minigame, I won't lose use anything, and capsules can play a role, but they mainly just shuffle items around and give or take away coins. There's a new space present here, and it's Donkey Kong space. That's right, the ape has retired and will no longer be a playable character. He'll appear on boards to give away prizes and collect bananas, but in this mode, his sole purpose is physical assault. Yeah! Fuck him up! And it wouldn't be a bad time to mention this game's new characters. Toad joins the roster, quitting his gig as host. We also get Boo, which means he's absent on boards too. And one more addition with Koopa Kid Prime. Great choices, mainly because I use Boo and one of my cousins uses Toad. If there's one thing I do like about the story mode, it's the bite-sized game boards. We keep getting these smaller maps dangled in front of us in the tutorials and bonus modes, and it's getting to the point where I want to play around on them. I feel like they have so much potential, especially with the capsules. But returning to the story, every time we beat the Koopa Kids, Bowser hints about having his own dream. And considering that every board has been a dream, it makes sense that Bowser's dream would be a board too. So voila, Bowser's nightmare. But Bowser's like, actually no. My dream is that one day, every person in this kingdom will control their own destiny. I'm making the mother of all omelets here, Waluigi. And then Koopa Kid is like, oh damn. My dream was just a cuddle with you, my lord. No, Bowser won't reveal his true intentions, but he needs Waluigi for it to be possible. A winky face emoji. And then the final boss commences. Frightmare, a 4-phase fight. Like, what? First you have to jump on top of rats, then dodge several rings of fire, and I just want to point out how difficult this phase is. One of my favorite minigame genres is the dodge obstacles in a circular arena game, and Frightmare has made a version so difficult that it took me years to beat. They made it so hard for no reason, and I love it for that. This is followed with a hand-to-hand fight against Bowser, where the win condition is to get him to break through the floor like in Super Mario Bros. 3, and in the final phase, Bowser chugs a can of Gamer Girl bathwater, which enlarges his body and grants him the power to construct pondering orbs, which we then ponder ourselves for the victory. And that's the story mode. It unlocks Bowser's Nightmare and Frightmare, and if you want to get technical, probably the dual minigames. I can't see myself replaying this ever again, but at least it's more enjoyable than 3 and 4 stories. And if you were wondering what Bowser's actual dream was, he wanted to fight a strong opponent. Really scraping the barrel with Waluigi. So let's talk about some boards. I've already discussed a few of the rule changes like capsules in the Donkey Kong space, but there isn't much else besides those. Most spaces and items that were removed have a capsule counterpart. Like I said, the Koopa Bank is now an item, Boo quit their job and was replaced with a Chain Chomp capsule, the Warp Space was ousted for the Klepto capsule, Chance Time and Duels are now through capsules. Like, we lost opportunities in Mario Party 5, but besides the lottery and shops, most things that are missing are still accessible. But there's 2 changes I want to highlight, and the first is the new duel rules. If you're the initiator, you have the option to wager stars, and if you have them, 50 coins can be substituted. The other change is just a quality of life improvement, but starting in this game, when you're at a path split, the arrows will always point to the fastest way to the star. And speaking of stars, during the final 5 turns, there's a small chance 5 stars will be on the map for the remainder of the game. Another potential final 5er will occupy every space with an item, but more often than not, it's triple coins from spaces, or reds turning into Bowsers. A few other changes include battle minigames being random occurrences where everyone votes for the minigame, lucky minigames are gone, and another notable removal are the key doors and orange pipes. And before I could possibly talk about the boards, I need to acknowledge the new design philosophy present in the game as a result of all these cut features. Hell, boards don't even have gimmicks like countdowns and mirage stars in them. It's like the designers wanted every map to be vanilla flavored, but there is some positivity to this new direction, and it's that the boards aren't dookie ass dog shit like in Mario Party 3 and 4. Bowser's dream is real. They gave us back the human right to control our own destiny. I don't have to waste half the game traveling down paths the game forced me into. Positioning is once again a strategy, and I am stoked. And I think this increase in freedom is related to the absence of Boo and doors. Boards don't need to include obligatory shortcuts or a path that's difficult to reach, but they're still structured as if you could, which creates a new problem. Some junctions have paths that you'll never use unless a star is there. If I have the choice to take a path with 7 spaces or a path that leads to the same spot but in 12, I'm gonna pick the 7. I don't care if there's a capsule machine or one happening space. You can't make me go up. And it had me thinking that maybe the splits exist to encourage people to throw capsules on the board. Then it forces someone to take the longer path. But here's the problem with that. I'm just going to set the capsule before the junction. If I'm setting a trap, you are not getting an escape route. So enough dawdling around. Let's start with Toy Dream, which is circular in design, but has many opportunities to cut corners and complete a shorter circuit. And because of the star spawns, gameplay will revolve around risking staying in the loop or exiting it to reset your position. If you're at the top or bottom and want to switch sides, landing at the train stations will allow you to instantly do that. And sometimes the train may be your only option to the top, because the climb up has happening spaces where toy soldiers will break the floor below your feet, forcing you into a shorter track. If you're looking for a Hail Mary to the next star, a Jack-in-the-Box at the center will randomly launch you anywhere on the map, and in the strangest Super Mario Sunshine cameo on the Gamecube, Mecha Bowser is built onto the board to send you back 15 spaces. Pirate Dream plays pretty similarly, but is weaker overall because of its gimmick. Near the end of the road is a 3-way split where you can either pay 10 coins for a quick way back to start, pay 10 coins for the slowest way back to start, or don't pay at all for the medium's way back to start. Like, they brought back Womp, but he won't even switch sides. What's the point of paying him? Well, if you know you're gonna land on the happening space, then maybe it's a good choice, because the longest road has a 20% chance to send you to the right side of the map. The other happening spaces also share this warping property. Landing at the waterfall will drop you into the ocean, and stopping at the cannon can save you some turns on the way back up. And if you like miners, Monty Mole's recruiting. Undersea Dream is yet another circle, but it's my personal favorite of this format because the circuit is much smaller and there's opportunities to go backwards and stall for a few turns. This is because the map is two connected halves like Yoshi's Tropical Island. So if you were ever wondering how that map may play with normal star rules, this is the closest alternative. The only problem is the leftmost trail is long and never justifies a visit. It contains two happening spaces, one transports you to the right side of the map, while the other pushes you forward 14 spaces, but technically only saves you 5. The right side is where the real action happens. Right in the whale flips a coin as it'll place you right in front or right behind the star, and a generous Cheep Cheep here hands out free Balenciagas. Sweet Dream is the real highlight. When Mario Party has a cake map, you know it's gonna deliver. And that's surprising to say because this board uses the breaking bridges from Bowser's Gnarly Party. Except they didn't make it fucking stupid this time. One person goes left, one person goes down, and there's no death loops to speak of. But honestly, you might find it favorable to position yourself in this board's smallest circuit, because it includes a happening space where you can steal a star from everyone for free. That's a big boo with no strings attached, and you can camp it and collect capsules on the side. All you have to do is master the roulette, and this board gets violent. Landing on the other happening spaces will warp you to the bottom left corner, and somehow they found a way to shoehorn a basketball minigame on this map. Oh yeah, they nailed this one. And up next is the obligatory island hopping board, but what's that? They made 2. Rainbow Dream is your standard quadrant hopper, and if you've ever wanted to play the driest version of this theme, here it is. The biggest complaint Wario's Battle Canyon and Mysteryland get is that whether you stay on an island or not is up to chance. Rainbow Dream's gimmick is they got rid of it for all you crybabies. I hope you're happy. Free choice is no longer an illusion, you bastards. Yep, now we can choose to live on an island. And I know I was just talking up how good stalling is as a strategy, but the reason I like quadrant hoppers is for their chaos. I want my entire game to tank because I got a bad break. I want to be able to skip 2 islands or interact with someone from across the board. And the happening spaces here are such a letdown. One island lets you earn some items, another can give you coins, the second one sends you back to start, and the third one can randomly send you to any island. And then the main way to switch islands is to pay 5 coins, or land on a happening space right after it to save 5 coins. Still better than Mario Party 3 and 4's hoppers. And the other board is a unique case because it has 3 islands this time. Future Dream. That does not look like a withered earth. Future Dream is like Undersea Dream because you can't breathe. Both maps are like a chain. You just keep circling around the center until it's time to make a move to the left or right. But in practice, it's just a relay to each star since there aren't many opportunities to make a pass. Rocket ships fill this map, and boarding the center island spacecrafts will randomly pick a new home for you, while the outer islands have a single vessel and a single stop. So more often than not, you'll be circling around the left or right islands. And of course, there's a red baron to collect some coins and a slot machine to maybe earn a capsule. And closing out the boards is Bowser's Nightmare, which is almost identical to Toy Dream, except all the happening spaces reference previous Bowser boards. Like 2 of them have Bowser take his sweet time strolling across the castle, which changes every space he passes into a red one for a turn as an homage to Bowser's Magma Mountain. Referencing Bowser Land is a happening space that thrusts you into a tiny death loop where the only exit is to land on another happening space, and Bowser's Gnarly Party is succeeded by flamethrowers that burn your capsules and 2 happening spaces that allow Bowser to steal half your coins or send you back to start. And those are the boards. We got 7 this time, and thinking about them critically, they're just a titch on the mediocre side. Not bad, but not the best either. And while I value movement a lot, the absence of shops and banks and boo and board altering gimmicks is very noticeable. This game was designed to reinvigorate the item system and to make every turn be filled with pandemonium and madness. But if you're playing to win, it invalidates most of their efforts. This game has great items, and it has great boards. There just needed to be a few tweaks to incentivize tossing capsules around to get those chaotic outcomes. There's a fun Mario Party here, you just need to go against your best interest to make it that way. The theme with Mario Party 5's boards is that they're collectively good, but aren't the series' best, and I feel like the minigames hold a similar position. Like, I really don't hate that many of them, but compared to the first 4 games, I have to rank these low. But on the bright side, 5 has some great free-for-alls. My personal favorite is Dinger Derby, a reaction timing game that tracks your score and is oh so addicting. Later Skater finally made a top-down racer with smooth controls. Chomp Romp is a blast to speedrun as you gotta chain chomp around a park with only a whistle. Flower Shower is as exciting as how I imagine money booths are. Pushy Penguins is a heart-pounding reimagining of the Last Man Standing genre. Hotel Goomba finally put all my Pokemon Strength puzzle knowledge to good use. Triple Jump is a neat alternative to the button masher, and Leaf Leap tests patience and reaction in a way that's stressful, frustrating, and equally enjoyable. 2 vs 2 is usually a guarantee for fun minigames, but I think it's one of 5's weakest areas. Panic Pinball is great whether or not you're winning. Handy Hoppers turning Jump Rope into a team game was fun to see. Defuse or Lose is a guaranteed conflict starter, and Bust Buffer being an Eats a Pizza spin-off gets the okay for me. But the other half is just like, eh. In Submarathon, you control the eyes of a fish submarine while your teammate does all the work. That about sums up how I feel about the remaining 2v2ers. 1 vs 3 nailed the balance between the teams in its ankle-breaking games. Flatiator and Two But or Lose It both have the one player mowing down their competition, and they each give everyone the right tools for an even fight. And flipped around, Squared Away and Beam Team give the 3 enough disadvantages for a fair time. I always thought Mario Mech was so cool on an aesthetic level, but what the hell happened with Mathletes? Did you guys try? And for that matter, what was Vicious Vending in the free-for-alls? I know Heatstroke gets a lot of shit as one of the series' worst minigames, and I'm in that boat too. But it's like Mario Party 2's Shock, Drop, and Roll, where once you know how to play, the 3 are unstoppable. Battle minigames disappointed me. I always have to mention how Mario Party 2 set my standards so high, which might sound hypocritical because Random Ride is basically Day at the Races, but without the flair. Lucky Lineup is a second luck game in the set. Bill Blasters and Twist and Out's ability to let players gang up on someone is evil for probably the right reasons, and then Astrological and Tugadori are just too simple for me. Duels made their official return, and I'm miffed by how plain these are. It's pretty obvious that duels weren't a priority, or maybe budget cuts occurred, because they all share the same 3 assets and environments. And for what we get, most of these games are too basic. Like, I'd expect them in Mario Party 2 if that game got more boards. Shy Guy Showdown, Countdown Pound, Head Waiter, Mary Poppins, Pump and Jump, Wind Waivers, Pound Peril, Womp Maze, Pick a Rope? These are games I'd expect in an entry-level game design class, not the 5th Mario Party, but at the very least, Sky Survivors and Shock Absorbers are fantastic. Bowser minigames come back too, but this time everybody can lose instead of just one player. Scalding Cauldron is a luck game, which sucks for the stakes involved. Rain of Fire is either incredibly easy or you'll have no clue how you lost, and Cajun Cookin' should always be a guaranteed waste of time. And then the new DK minigames are all short micro games where everybody scrambles to collect bananas in a short amount of time to receive coins during the boards. Overall, I can't help but feel a little let down by the minigames. Like I said, the collection is good, but falls short once it gets compared to the Nintendo 64 trilogy. I'll still take this over what we got in 4 because there's so much more variety, but a lasting opinion I have is how safe many minigames are. And it's not just the duels. There's games like Which Piranha Plant is Dancing Differently? or who can press the Family Feud button quicker. It's a small blemish within the selection, but ultimately, I'd be down for some Mario Party 5 minigames if you asked me to play. You know this part, it's extra modes time. And getting this far into the series, each game has consistently provided more additional content to do besides playing game boards and minigames. First to 7 returns, as is tradition, but now there's a few other modes to play, random minigames, and one in particular has become a paragon within my gaming experiences. The Decathlon. It pretty much defined my childhood from 2006 to 2010, and really beyond, because it was where most of my time playing video games with my cousins went toward. Yeah, this one mode is responsible for like 99% of my Gamecube playtime when I'm with my cousins. It's that fucking good. And it's a simple concept too. Everybody plays 10 mini games that have been altered to track your score and convert them into points, and whoever performs the best with those metrics wins. Literally the most addicting thing ever. And I think what kept it engaging for my sister and cousins too is that the mini games have been programmed so they don't instantly end when someone wins. For the first time, everyone has the opportunity to finish the games, which was especially nice since there was a clear skill gap between myself and everyone else. So me clearing Chomp Drop in 18 seconds doesn't automatically ruin their experience. I love the Decathlon so much that if I could create a small budget video game of my own, it would be modeled after this mode. With the right 10 mini games, a Decathlon could sell itself because the variety and ability to optimize your scores makes it very replayable. When I said 99% of our playtime was devoted to this mode, I mean it. There were days at our grandma's house where we'd spend our entire afternoon playing Decathlon over and over again. And you know what? I'm gonna spoil that Mario Party 6 and 7 have Decathlons too. That's right, this divine gift was shared with mankind 3 times on the Gamecube. Forget the Capsule era. This is the Decathlon era. Another bonus mode I want to spend a lot of time on is Super Duel Mode. You know how I've been praising Mario Party 3's Duel Mode like it saved my life? Well, this mode's nothing like that. It's BattleBots, baby, and I loved that shit as a kid. This mode lets you build a vehicle out of a variety of parts and weapons, and then you duke it out with other vehicles. I remember spending so much time figuring out how to make a car that optimized function and fashion. Why did I pick a train? I love how goofy the parts are, like Wiggler wheels and a Goomba engine. Professor EGAT has some parts, which makes Mario Party 5 the link between Luigi's Mansion and Paper Mario's continuity. And he has created the most sussy gun ever. You fucking freak. It's so weird seeing a mode like this in a Mario Party, since none of the previous games had a random minigame with this much depth that gets its own slot on the main menu. Like, you know how crazy that is? This game has a bonus mode menu, and they decided not to put Super Duel Mode in there. But you know what is in the bonus mode menu? Card Party. You ever want to play Betrayal at the House on the Hill and understand the rules? This is your answer. A square of cards are set with some hiding stars, items, and happening spaces, and your goal is to flip cards over, revealing a path to reach them. Now, I don't want to call this a good mode because there's no mini games, and I find it really boring. But maybe it's a good idea to revisit. Flipping cards is always a gamble because stars and boosts can steal from you, and happening spaces can instantly kill your game. It's both predictable and full of risks. And that's all I've got to say about Mario Party 5. It's a game I've always seen people describe as bad or mediocre, and I can see where they're coming from. Mario Party 5 was a huge pivot for the franchise that breathed new life into the Gameboards, but also destroyed some of its most important features. The result is a game that was probably terrifying when it released. So terrifying, the game was branded as the beginning of the series' downfall. The good news is, when you hit rock bottom, you can only go up. And Mario Party 6 and 7 will recycle capsules, so there's opportunities to fix 5's issues and improve them. Thanks for watching the video, I hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to leave a like to help the channel grow, and subscribe to get updates on my uploads as soon as they happen. But until then, I will see you all next time.